In this active expression active tip, we're going to look at a few ideas to help you reflect on deciding whether you need to prepare your active expressions with the question wizard or with the express poll. We could refer to it as pre-prepared or ad hoc, but I guess everything's really pre-prepared in some manner. But we'll go ahead and say prepared is the question master and the ad hoc is when you just ask a question on the fly using the express poll. Now, first of all, when you look at your Active Inspire tool palette, you have two different tools that can be used to ask students to answer questions with their expressions. One is the green arrow, right up here, and that's for pre-prepared questions. If you went ahead and created something in the Question Master, that's going to be turned on. If you haven't, it's not going to be turned on. If you have questions about this, check out other active tips or Promethean Planet for a lot of training options on using the Question Master. The other one is our Express poll right here. It can be used at any time and even clicked over web pages or other programs. You can click on it and choose the type of questions and answers that you want students to go from. If you have questions about this, please check out the rest of our Active Expression Active Tip series. But let's compare the two further. Pulling this down right here. In general, you would use the pre-prepared questions if you want to assess a student's learning, if you want to automate your testing or scoring, or if you want your students to immediately know if the answer they have submitted is right or wrong. This can all be very helpful, but there are also disadvantages. Sometimes giving the answer too soon will keep the students from reflecting, discussing, or debating. They just want to know if it's right or wrong. On the other hand, ad hoc questioning using the express poll is best for getting students to participate, contribute, or discuss ideas. You will find there are many templates in your resource library with ideas for using learning response devices. In this case, the goal is not the grade, but true engagement. Now, both of these can be used both ways, and both of these can be used on the same page. This active tip is just to get you thinking about ways to use your expression devices as more than just a testing automation tool. So let's look at a sample page. Now this right here is a sample math page from our Inspire resource library. In this case, we want to see if the students can figure out the answer to this problem. Can they understand the problem and create a mathematical equation representing the problem? And can they do the calculations to figure out the answer? So the goal for this voting session is not to find out who got the answer right for a score, but to make this a learning experience. In other words, we are assessing for learning. So let's start by asking the students to send in what they think the answer is. So I'll go ahead and use my express poll and have the students text in what they think the answer is. Go ahead and send this in. Now I can see the answer is 12, and the teacher can clearly see that not all the students get this answer. So maybe the next step is, okay, we got to take a step back here. So I'm going to go ahead and write the equation up here. X times 4 plus 5 equals 45. And now what I could do is I could ask my students a different question. Okay, what's the first thing that we should be doing? Or I could even ask a true-false thing. I could ask true-false, is this the right equation to start off with? And then we can see if everyone's on the same page. And now we can get on to the math part. So I could ask my students, what should we do first? Or what number should we work at first? And hopefully they're going to tell me to, subtract 5 from both sides. So obviously, if all the students got the answer correct at the beginning, we may not even have to get to this point to go through all these steps. We could have just moved on to the next topic or level. But if this had been set up as a quick question or pre-prepared, I may not have gotten into these steps, and a lot of students may not have gotten to the learning objective that I wanted to. So hopefully this active tips gives you an idea on how you can use the express poll to get your students actively participating in lessons while using the responses to determine how to progress with the lesson. Enjoy.